how psychology creates its models, getting behind the scenes look, like being in the kitchen, but for now, we are in the dining room ready to pick up the finished models, place our orders, and then digest them. As we go through, we also tackle the problems we introduced at the start. Let's start with something rational: soup. Just like soup often has many ingredients, Eisen's theory of plant behavior and extension of his earlier theory of reasoned action involves several factors. In our case, we will say it has 8 ingredients, but let's simplify it into 3 multiplied by 2 plus 2 is 8. So what is in the soup? According to Eisen, our behavior is influenced by 3 types of beliefs: behavioral beliefs, normative beliefs, and control beliefs. Now imagine we have just been served some soup and we are deciding whether to eat with disposable chopsticks that came with the soup or to ask for a reusable spoon. What goes through our mind? Behavioral beliefs. Broccoli. These are thoughts about the potential consequences of the behavior. You might think, does it really matter if I use disposable chopsticks? I regularly eat at restaurants anyway, so it's not a big deal. Normative beliefs. Nori. These are about what others expect of us. If chopsticks are provided, there's a social expectation to use them, especially when they are tied to cultural norms. Tradition might say, use the chopsticks, even though they are single-use and not the most sustainable choice. Control beliefs. Cauliflower. This reflects how much control we feel we have. Your inner voice might say, since this is how it's served, I will just eat as it is. No need to complicate things. But then something shifts. You notice a reusable spoon nearby or recall how easy would it be to simply ask the waiter for one. The subtle reminds gives you a sense of control over the situation, and suddenly the choice feels more manageable. You realize that asking for the spoon aligns your actions with your values, choosing sustainability over convenience. Eisen's theory shows us how these 3 beliefs work together to influence our intentions and behavior. Behavioral beliefs shape how we assess the consequences of our actions. Normative beliefs reflect social pressures and expectations. Control beliefs determine how empowered we feel to make changes. In the end, while it might be easier to use the disposable chopsticks provided with a little reflection and control, you might find yourself choosing the spoon instead, taking a small but meaningful step towards more sustainable consumption. After enjoying the soup, we are now hungry for something more substantial, like carbohydrates. But why do we crave this dish? It's not because anyone is forcing us. It's intrinsic motivation that's guiding us here. This type of motivation plays a key role in self-determination theory, which we will return to shortly. However, let's imagine a friend sitting next to us. She wasn't craving carbs, but decides to join us anyway, motivated not by own hunger, but perhaps by pro-social motivation. She might be eating with us to make us feel comfortable, which mirrors how altruistic motives can inspire sustainable behavior, like giving up meat for the greater good. Let's dive into prosocial motivation with the metaphor of pizza quattro stagioni, each slice representing a season, just like different motivations guide us in helping others. According to Batson 2011, there are 4 kinds of prosocial motivation, and we can link them to the 4 toppings on this pizza. First, we have self-benefit egoism, which is like the artichokes of spring. focusing on growth and development. Spring is all about planting seeds and nurturing your own potential. So here you help because it helps you grow and feel good about yourself. Then comes altruism, represented by the ripe tomatoes of summer. Summer is when everything is in full bloom and your actions are focused on others, just like giving away the fruits of your labor to bring joy to others. Next is collectivism, symbolized by the mushrooms of autumn, the season of harvest. Here, your actions are about benefiting the whole group, much like sharing the bounty of autumn with the community. Finally, we have principalism linked to olives of winter. Winter is about endurance and preservation. In this case, you are motivated by the upholding a moral principle, ensuring it stands firm through tough times, much like the winter preserves the seed for new growth. Let's not forget our intrinsic motivation, which drives our lasting choices and behaviors. Imagine the chef duo, Edward Deci and Richard Ryan, serving us 3 bruschettas, each with a unique topping, representing the key ingredients of self-determination theory, SDT. First up, we have the anchois bruschetta, which stands for autonomy. Autonomy is the freedom to initiate your own actions. Next is the capers bruschetta, representing competence. Competence is the satisfaction of mastering new skills. Finally, let's enjoy the brie bruschetta, which stands for belonging. Belonging is the feeling of being valued in your relationships. These 3 needs, autonomy, competence, and belonging, are the foundation of intrinsic motivation, keeping us committed to choices that align with our values. After the main course, we turn our attention to dessert. Since our friend has made thoughtful choices throughout the meal, we decide to follow the lead and order something light and refreshing, a goblet of finely sliced fruit. And just like this dessert, Bandura's social cognitive theory offers us something nourishing and empowering. At its heart, Bandura's theory is all about agency, the belief that we have control over our actions. It helps us bridge the gap between our intentions and our behavior. Ever had great plans to live more sustainable but ended up falling back into old habits? That's where Bandura steps in. The secret lies in self-efficacy, our belief in our ability to succeed. If you truly believe you can achieve something, you are far more likely to do it. This belief in self-efficacy grows from mastery experiences, times when you have done something successfully before, like consistently choosing a bike over a car. Vicarious experiences, seeing others succeed, shows us that we can too. Social persuasion, a little encouragement from others, goes a long way in boosting our confidence. Here's the real magic: self-regulation. Like any good recipe, success in our goals comes down to how well we plan and execute. Zimmerman's self-regulated learning model teaches us the key skills to just that: setting clear goals, monitoring our progress, assessing the outcome, and making adjustment when needed. So just like our fruit dessert, light, balanced, and refreshing, Bandura's theory offers us the tools to refresh our approach to sustainable consumption, giving us the confidence and control to act on our intention. By drawing on these psychological models, prosocial motivation, self-determination theory, and social cognitive learning, we see how they shape our sustainable consumption choices. From choosing pizza to feeling in control of our own decisions, these frameworks helps explain why we act the way we do and how we can guide ourselves toward more sustainable actions. Time for dessert, and we are ordering the tree of chocolates, representing Stern's value, belief, norm theory. It's an absolute hit. We are changing the flavors but keeping the idea of 3 small cups of chocolate, each symbolizing a different stage of how our values shape sustainable behavior. We start with vegan chocolate, representing values. Stern's VBN theory suggests that people's core values shape their attitudes and behavior towards the environment. 4 key values influence how we act. Altruism, represented by Annie's chocolate, symbolizing concern for others and the environment, often regarded as the most important value for promoting sustainable behavior. Selfishness, its opposite, focused on personal gain. Tradition, representing loyalty to past practices and customs. Openness to change, symbolizing a willingness to embrace new ideas and adapt. Next is biochocolate, symbolizing beliefs. The theory states that people act based on their beliefs about the consequences of their actions. Here we have 3 key beliefs. NIP, ecological worldview, represented by mint-flavored chocolate with a mint leaf shaped like the European Union ecological label, symbolizing the belief that humans have a significant and irreversible impact on the biosphere. AC, awareness of consequences, symbolized by coconut amaretto chocolate, reflecting the belief that violating important values leads to negative consequences. AR, ascription of responsibility, represented by rum amaretto chocolate, symbolizing the belief that we as individuals can reduce negative consequences through our actions. Finally, we arrive at nougat chocolate, representing personal norms which reflect our internal sense of moral obligation. Once we recognize that our actions affect the environment, our internal norms motivate us to act accordingly. In this way, our values, together with beliefs, activate pro-environmental norms reinforced by sense of responsibility and guide us toward more sustainable action. To wrap things up, we enjoy a strong espresso corto. Because without it, how would we understand our Mijoux values? This espresso represents Schwartz's value model and his well-known questionnaire that helps Mijoux values. You might remember I have already made a video on this, so feel free to revisit it during your coffee break. It's a quick shot of insight, just like an espresso. And now, instead of traditional summary, I invite you to a feast. Together we digest all the concepts we have explored and start solving the problems posed at the beginning. Let's dive into the dishes prepared by our psychological models and see how they help us tackle the challenges of sustainable consumption.